So how can you stop feeling like a failure following a trauma like divorce? First things first is to understand that if you do feel like a failure, that's completely normal. Most of us do, actually, because relationships were this thing that we were supposed to get perfect. So not being great at that and finding out that you've actually in some way contributed towards the failure of a relationship, it can make you feel a bit ick. It can make you feel like you're not quite on top of everything in your life. So it's normal to feel like a failure, but here's some really important things that you can do to stop feeling like one. First things first, normalize the breakup situation, normalize divorce in general. More than half of the planet have experienced at least one relationship breakup or divorce within their lifetime. So most of us walking around have actually experienced this kind of failure. So you're not alone. If you think you're the only person in your friendship circle or community that have actually experienced this, you're actually not alone. That is a very common thing that a lot of people have experienced. So give yourself a little bit of a break with that. You're not the only failure. We all experience failure. And failure isn't necessarily getting knocked down. It's when we stay down. It's when we kind of really accept defeat and get all stewy and pruny in that universe of feeling that defeat. That's the part you really need to watch out for, because that's where we can really get stuck and weirded out. So that's the first thing. The second thing is that to move on and get to that place of resiliency where you can pick yourself up and feel better and get back out there is a function of resiliency. And you cannot have resiliency if you don't get into like a learning mind frame. Learning is akin to healing. If you want to get better and you want to start healing, you've got to get into this like learning paradigm. And you're not going to get into a learning paradigm if you're just staying stuck and kind of in that victim space where you're feeling this happened to me and why and I don't understand. And we're in that like whole dark universe down there. You got to pick yourself up and go, okay, maybe this didn't happen to me. Maybe this happened for me. Maybe there's something to get from this. Maybe there's something to learn here. So you got to flip that attitude switch on to get yourself into a place of maybe this happened for me and there's something I can learn here. Once you switch on that learning mission, you start to hunt for what is it that I can learn from this situation. And when you are learning, you will start feeling like you're healing, and that mediates that kind of failure feeling. The next thing that's really key is to give yourself some love, man. Give yourself some self-compassion. You cannot get into a learning mind frame when you're beating yourself up. When you are thrashing yourself and feeling really dark and sad and bad and all that kind of stuff, you're not going to be feeling at your best. You're not actually going to be able to learn anything. You're just going to be squashing yourself under, a really strong weight. So giving yourself some self-compassion puts yourself in a frame to kind of learn and start to move on and get into a better position here. So self-compassion, why should you have self-compassion? Firstly, because not only is it quite normal to experience failure in life, but also as we're going through failure, we don't have a time machine. We don't actually have the ability to go back in time and apply this hindsight bias that you're beating yourself up for. So for whatever reason today you have new insights, new ideas, but you didn't have that, at the time that this all happened. You've only learned that now, and you don't actually get the opportunity to go back and do a do-over. So you got to give yourself a break for that. You've got to kind of go, look, it happened. Maybe I regret certain things, and if I could do it again, I might have done it differently, but it is what it is. All I can do now is to learn and to start the mission of what I can do better moving forward. Maybe I can admit that I made a mistake over here, but maybe I'm just going to make new mistakes moving forward. So getting into that kind of position is going to be a better position for you to accept this and to move on from it. And the final thing that I would say about failure is that failure is just feedback. We all fail at everything in life. There is nothing that can be created or born without experiencing some level of failure along the journey. And in reality, most of us that have achieved anything in life fail forward because And it's your ability to take on board that feedback, turn it into something, and keep moving forward. So as long as you keep moving forward, you keep taking on board feedback, you're learning, you're having self-compassion, you are not a failure. Failure is staying down, beating oneself up, squashing oneself, regretting and getting stuck into that like dark place down there. That's the part that you need to kind of get yourself out of. So I hope those tips help in kind of moving on and taking on board your failure as feedback so that you can get back on track. And, you know, be sure to subscribe to our videos if you want to learn more about this topic. And if you get stuck, book a call with myself or somebody on our team and, you know, tell us your story, and we can tell you one of the programs that we have that might actually help you get out of this. All right, take care.